The Leafs have made the playoffs 8 straight seasons. They've won a grand total of 1 round over that stretch. And the general feeling is that at no point over that run has any playoff opponent been afraid to face them. But is that going to change this year? Marty, is this the first time in the Austin Matthews era the playoff Leafs will be feared?
Yeah, I believe so, Gino. And I think a lot of the credit goes to Craig Berube and the way that he's made the Leafs play defensively. Last season, the Leafs were 26th in expected goals against at 5-on-5. They were not defending hard. They were not defending well. And they were giving up way too much room in the slot, especially in the defensive zone. This season, they've climbed to top 6 in goals, expected goals against at 5-on-5. That is a big jump, and they are much, much tougher to play against, especially in the defensive zone. And not just the team aspect, the goaltending is way better. Last season, they were 24th in team save percentage. This year, they're top 10, right? Stolars and Woll are definitely playing better. And if you look at the last 9 games, Austin Matthews has 1 goal. That's an empty net goal. He hasn't beaten a goalie in the last 9 games. The Leafs are 6-3. They don't need Matthews to score at a 65, 70 goal a year pace to win games. They can play really tight games, play well defensively, and still win. Now, also, who are you going to fear in the Atlantic Division, in the Eastern Conference? You're going to fear the Florida Panthers? Yeah, I know they won last year. They're not the same team. Tampa is not the same. The Washington Capitals are a good team, but do you fear them? No. I feel like you fear the Toronto Maple Leafs because they have the offense to back it up, and they play so much better defensively.
Man, they've come a long way. All right, you mentioned Matthews, but how about Mitch Marner? At the Four Nations, he had an overtime winner. Then he set up McDavid's golden goal. Ever since his return to the Leafs, he seems to have taken his game to another level. So, Marty, is this just a hot stretch, or did that tournament unlock something in Marner?
The tournament definitely unlocked something in Marner. And if you look at the first game of the tournament against Sweden, he really didn't have a good game. Yes, he scored the overtime goal in game 1 against Sweden, but he wasn't playing well. They moved him around a little bit. I think he looked around the locker room and says, hey, you know what? I can be a superstar. It's not just about McKinnon and Crosby and McDavid. I can be one of those guys as well because I'm as good as them. Now, I know McKinnon and Crosby and McDavid are a little bit of another level. But when you look at Marner, the way he can control play in all 3 zones, defensive zone, neutral zone in transition, and offensive zone, is creativity. The way that he can, lead a line to create offensively. I think he looked around that locker room, and a lot of players have said that coming back from international competition and said, hey, I realize what I need to do. And right now we're seeing Mitch Marner playing some of his best hockey because that tournament, the Four Nations face-off, unlocked something in Mitch Marner.
Wow, Marty, you're a believer. Okay, we're a week out from the trade deadline. What should Brad Treliving be doing to make this team even more feared come playoff time?
I think there's a couple of things that he can do and the Leafs should look at. Number 1 is a third-line center. Max Domi is in that spot right now. I don't think Max Domi fears anybody when you look at the middle of the ice and the depth right there. I think you can move Domi over to the wing and add a third-line center that's going to complement Matthews and Tavares and keep the ball rolling when you roll your top 3 lines especially. The second thing is a depth defenseman. I know Tanev is out right now. He'll be back, but right now Benoit and Timmins don't really install fear in anybody as a third pair defense. I know it's just a third pair, and maybe they play only 12, 13 minutes a game, but you still need that depth. And I think if the Leafs can get a third-line center and maybe another piece on defense, now everybody would be looking at them as one of the favorite in the Eastern Conference.
Wow. Marty, you touched on this a moment ago. For the first time in what feels like forever, the Leafs general manager doesn't need to worry about his goaltending at the deadline. Stolar starts tonight. He's second in the league behind only Connor Hellebuck with a .926 save percentage.